Rude.
Actually, littering's really bad, so just gonna put that down.
I'm sure you already knew that cigarettes were bad for you. We've all seen the ads, and maybe you might not care that it's hurting you and might just think, well, it's a personal choice and it's a choice I'm making for myself. But what about the people around you? We've also heard about secondhand smoke and how it affects your loved ones and everyone that you care about. But what the least known thing is third-hand smoke. Third-hand smoke, as talked about in the Truth Initiative website, talks about how cigarettes don't just end at you putting them out, and the damage doesn't end there. It continues on. There are still chemicals that are left in the ashes and the dust from your cigarette smoke, and those ashes and that dust goes into the environment and into the soil and into the water that we drink. That's what third-hand smoke is. It affects everyone and everything around you. But smoking tobacco doesn't just end there. It doesn't stop at the fact that you put out your cigarette or anything like that. And maybe you don't care if it goes into the environment. You're like, third-hand smoke isn't real. It's not true. How about the cultivation and the growing of tobacco plant? 5% of deforestation that happens in Africa is because of growing the tobacco plant itself. That means that these beautiful lands are being destroyed just to grow tobacco plants. And about an estimated 600 million trees are destroyed a year just to make tobacco. That's about one tree for every 300 cigarettes. So one tree is being cut down to make 300 little cigarettes. And you might think that that's not a lot, but in the whole breakdown of everything, it is. And globally, according to an article written by Lorraine Chow, there are 11.4 tons of solid wood that are being destroyed and used just in order to grow a tobacco plant. And since the tobacco plant is such a sensitive plant and is prone to diseases, you guessed it, there are 16 pesticides used in just 3 months of the growth of the tobacco plant. That means that these harmful pesticides are going into your body and also into the environment and harming the people who are growing the plant around them and the environment around it, harming the animals and going into the dirt, causing further damage to the already weakening earth around us. And like we talked about earlier, third-hand smoke, those cigarette butts don't go away. They are non-biodegradable, and that means that there are just littered everywhere and they won't go away. They don't stop just because you throw them in the trash can. Much like plastic, it doesn't go away. Actually, tobacco is the number one most littered item in the world, with smokers saying that they're tossing them out of cars all the time. A journal from the University of California says that the cigarette butts that lie on the street actually go into runoffs and rivers and into our oceans and affects our drinking water and the oceans that our kids play in or our nieces and nephew play in, and it's one of the most found things on beaches. In an international beach cleanup, they've actually found over 1 million cigarette butts just on one coastal area. And the harming effects of cigarettes don't just stop there. They're everywhere. They're from the beginning, from making them and cultivating them and getting rid of forests and making sure that the plant is not diseased. That causes DDTs to be put into the environment. The smoke from cigarettes itself releases 7,000 toxic chemicals that go into the environment and go into the lungs of children and people around them. And while we all might think that this is just another advertisement, it's something that actually really affects the whole universe. It's a life cycle that doesn't end. And if that doesn't stop you from smoking cigarettes, just remember that your non-smoking friends feel left alone when you walk away, just to smoke your social cigarette.
So are you going to Pride this weekend?
Yeah, I heard Superfruit's gonna be there.
Oh, I love Superfruit.
I know, right?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Superfood.
Ooh, best band ever.
Never heard of them.
You wanna go get a smoke? Okay. All right.